Hello, welcome to our podcast, KOK Live on Afia TV. You can reach us on channel 254, DSTV, or channel 17, GoTV, and official Afia TV on other social media platforms. This is a very big platform for us to be telling ourselves some home truths. So on this podcast, we bring you guests who have a mind to speak not just to the issues, but also to vent their surprise or anger or whatever it is on trending issues, issues of the moment, and other social issues that can be dealt with. Today, we are discussing the topic, the Igbo Renaissance, discussing the role of the media in development of the Southeast region. The Igbos occupy the Southeast and other fringes in the South, and so on. You can't really limit where they occupy because as those who are students of history, the Igbos are always going to where there's business. And the man who understands the area the Igbos have come to occupy, either as homeland or this, is a very distinguished gentleman, popularly called Super Sam. You know what it means to call somebody super? That means Omar Iboneme. Our guest today is Dr. Sammy Adrian Ajufo. Dr. Ajufo is currently the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of Color Code Group and the President of Adrian and Bruce Limited. He has founded several existing and thriving organizations and is a thoroughbred media expert, communications consultant, certified broadcast management professional, author, trainer, administrator, and business process engineer. He is currently the Dean of the School of Communications and Media Studies of LLB SUK. And together with his wife, Nkem, they run the Adrian Ajufo Foundation and a large family intentionally raising 6 girls. That's a beautiful one. Ladies and gentlemen, you've joined us for a good cause. I welcome Dr. Ajufo. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. And I might want to add, this is long overdue. I'm saying that personalities of your caliber should have these conversations because what we have in this space today are watery. They don't have value and they are for entertainment and gossip purposes. So KOK Live is, at least it distinguishes the men from the boys. And this is something I'm really honored to be here about.
Now, distinguishing the men from the boys, how has the Southeast distinguished itself from other parts of the country?
Well, that's a very broad concept. I think we are living off our name. We're living off what our forefathers have given us, but we haven't gone so far. If you won't mind me taking you back to
Go ahead.
Before the Civil War.
Go ahead.
If you look at the components of those who propagated the Civil War, you saw professionals. How were you able to keep a war going for 3 years? The ingenuity, the people, the strategy, everything.
Yes.
We had men of metal then. Even though I know people who say, well, because of the war, psychology and all that, no, it means that we were destroyed psychologically after the war, which is wrong. We were not. The problem is that we did not write our history.
Okay.
History is written by the winner.
Yes.
When we finished the war, there was no book, there was no literary work.
Yeah.
So the children of the Gen Z now don't know what happened before, don't know what happened after. Don't know that your grandfather was given 20 pounds. And after 20 pounds, your grandfather built this.
What we have today.
So where do you go to in the Southeast where you see a building with bullet holes?
Yes.
None.
Yes.
There is absolutely no place that you look at and say there was something that went on here. We have moved on as if nothing happened. The scars are still there. But we are not losers.
Yes.
The problem is we behave like we are losers.
Okay.
Because of our mentality. And because of that, we now have this me, myself, I, me, myself, I. Where we failed is that we forgot community. That thing that banded how many millions of people, we lost over millions in the war. But something banded us together, a common identity.
Okay.
And our DNA is progressive. The average Igbo man's DNA is not retrogressive, it's progressive.
Got it.
He goes ahead, he looks for, he conquers. So I think we have not been able to marshal that out as a group and understand that we have one common identity. And if we put our hands together, we can roll faster than what we are doing now. So what we have become now is become a complaining society looking for. I said something which was not acceptable to many people. I said, this presidency that is being dangled in front of us, do we need it?
Yes.
If you have the resources, and
Yes.
in any country in this world, if you go to any country and there's no Igbo man,
Run away from there.
even in Antarctica,
Yes.
there must be an Igbo man.
Yes.
You're dangling something that we don't need, but we can fund.
Okay.
We can control, but we don't need.
Yes.
So that is the least thing you should dangle in front
Yes.
of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before I go to the role of the media and development of the Southeast region and so on, I did a movie called Afamefuna. It wasn't the one boy apprenticeship scheme.
Yes.
Dr. Ojufo, I am worried for the Southeast region. Ndị be anyị ada amụzi ọlụ for 7 years, 10 years, 5 years, except Lofa. Young men now want to learn a trade under 6 months.
Yes.
And it's a very, very sad one. So don't you think that is going to quench or end the apprenticeship scheme that the Igbos evolved?
There's a white scholar that has been training online who had done this research that is the best and entrepreneurial structure in the world.
In the world, yes.
No one has this except the Igbo. If they take that away from us, we have lost it. And that is the cornerstone of our enterprise. That we are not only training, we are handing over skill, knowledge to a group.
Yes.
Now, when someone says I've had 7 years experience, it's not the years, it's the activities that happen within those years. So when I'm handing over, I'm settling you after 7 years, I'm not just giving you money. I gave you the environment.
Yes.
I gave you the connections.
I gave you a life.
I gave you a life. And I also gave you an example of mistakes I made you shouldn't make.
Yes.
Now, if somebody wants to do that same thing in 6 months, you're trying to cut short what should be an advantage to you. The pain and the pleasure always come together. If we lose that part, we lose our enterprise. And I dare say on this podcast that other tribes are beginning to understand what we have been doing. If you notice now, there is a strong push into enterprise.
Yes.
There's a strong push into being mentored. When we are talking about Dangote and his refinery, look back at Dangote and his life and realize he was mentored by his uncle. And he was trained.
Yes.
We don't know how long he was trained, but he got that mentorship.
That's it.
And you see that his other family members and other northern elite are beginning to evolve that. How do you have a Dangote and have a BUA and you have a Shafat? They are all coming. Where can we mention ours?
In the Southeast.
In the Southeast. Where we talk about we should be the ones who own the Nigerian Stock Exchange. It should be here.
It should be here, yeah.
We own enterprise.
Yes.
We should be having more business courses in our universities in the Southeast.
Yes.
Because we understand it.
Exactly.
We should have, when we're talking about airports and every state government is building an airport, are you building an international hub? We are the ones closer to China. Yes. Why are we not developed?
Very good.
So because we have found a space that is convenient, the younger people now feel because they don't know what the older ones went through. So what becomes it is flashy lifestyle. So guys go into crime because they don't want to go through the process. The process matters more, actually. When somebody sits and trains you for 7 years, now we have more people who have the skill to train and people who don't want to be trained. It's easy to japa. It's easy to leave the country.
Yes.
But building from scratch, knowing where the skeletons lie is also an advantage. So I think if we do not get hold of that, we are going to miss a lot. And this thing is not going to be a vague Igbo society. It has to start from every unit that we have, whether it's religious, whether it's family, whether it is cultural, whether it's school. We should imbibe that thing back. It should be part of the curriculum.
It should be. It should be. Why it bothers me is that when we shoot high-profile movies for Netflix and so other platforms, you find out that the crew is mainly from other parts of the country.
Yes.
The Igbo boys are not there.
Yes.
And I asked a question to some producers and say, Una people, they learn this job more than 6 months. They want to be a cameraman and all this stuff. Daruana Dienka is no longer part of the deal.
Yes.
So it bothers me a lot. And that takes me to asking you, the young people we have these days, are they the cause of the things happening in the Southeast that was not there before? Because we're coming from a communal lifestyle. I mean, the Southeasterners.
Yes.
In this, you also use this platform to describe for us who are we at Nnamdi Igbo? What makes us strong? What gives us that premium?
Let me answer that last question first. We don't know the ingredients of Coca-Cola.
Okay.
It's the same way we Igbos don't even know what we were created with.
Okay.
That's why we can't explain ourselves. We can't explain why we are so brilliant.
Yes.
We can't explain why we come to a room and we always want to dominate.
Yes.
If I ever see a silent Igbo man, then somehow he's speaking in some other form.
Okay.
What makes us unique is ingrained. It's divine.
Okay.
Let me call it that, because it can't be defined.
You can.
But then, I think we lost it when people who should not have been leading got into small wealth and started leading.
Good.
And then because of that, everyone started seeing that as an example. So if somebody does mistakenly, we call it money misroad, I just get into some, I shouldn't be, there's someone in Enugu that used to say, we used to be led by the most brilliant person in the class. Now the most brilliant person in the class, if he doesn't have the money, he's not brilliant. And the most brilliant person is the one with the money.
Let me cut you in. Cut in here. I just did a video 3 days ago. I've not even posted it. It's a Igbo cosmology of the Ezigbo Mmadụ, Nnukwu Mmadụ, or Oke Mmadụ. The Ezigbo Mmadụ is predicated on not too rich, but community person.
Yes.
Selfless.
Satisfied.
The Nnukwu Mmadụ, or Oke Mmadụ, very rich.
Yes.
Doesn't care whether you agree with him or no, he has his way and so on. The Igbo land today, as we speak, is more populated with the Oke Mmadụ and the Nnukwu Mmadụ than the Ezigbo Mmadụ. Do you agree, and to what extent?
I agree. And it's about who shouts more, whose noise is louder. And that's where we miss it. Because, where we started from was not this way. Okay. When you look at the history, I like going back to the war. When we talk about the war, we didn't hear about rich men in the war.
Yes.
Everybody was on the same level.
Yes.
You bring what you have.
Yes.
And we're all looking for money. So it's not that you had 10 naira, I had 5 naira. But here, the problem is that line is being cleaned off. We are not being able to distinguish. And those who are rich, should they be in leadership? Should they be the role models?
Yes.
Or should it be those ones who have the wisdom, the leadership skills? Should those ones be? Because when you look at it, when we talk about what happened in 1966, 7 to 1970, you would find out that those who actually propagated that, who kept on, were those who had the brains, the skills, our professors, our engineers, scientists. How many of those can we point out today? We can't. We see them celebrated abroad.
Yeah, abroad.
They go abroad, they get fellowships, they are in creating things.
Yes.
But we don't have them here because we don't value them. We value the ones that have money.
Money
is not bad.
But
there's a place where you understand that your generations ahead, money will come and go. You will die, they will spend the money. They'll sell the house, they'll sell the cars. But then what do you want the generations ahead to think? Because aside the billionaires like the Louis Ojukwu.
Yes. Salute.
How many other people can you point?
Yes.
Because nothing was written. No foundation was given. His name is not immortalized as someone who promoted culture, created a foundation that still exists today.
Okay.
But you have Ford Foundation.
Yes.
How many of us know?
Kennedy and so on.
Over the years.
Over the years.
Yes. So what are we doing as wealthy men to keep our names by putting down funds to say, let this continue. Let culture continue. Let language continue. If there are men in this town, in the Southeast today, who can say, I'm not going to be here for 200 years, but my name should be here.
Yes.
I'm going to put my name down for cultural exchange,
Okay.
for language.
Yes.
There should be a foundation. Every year, my business should give a profit share into that. So that my name is immortalized. If more people now say, I'll join my money into a collective, let's promote this, our apprenticeship scheme, it will pass
blossom.
It will blossom.
Yes.
But you see, we have distinguished ourselves in society that this one is there's a tag we give this a market person. His market, I beg, he's not tush. There's nothing tush about it.
Exactly.
The fact is Dangote is a market person.
Yes.
It's just that nomenclature changes.
Yes.
Goes down to the market. P2B is a market man.
Yes.
So I think we need to come back with these values, and it takes those ones who are the rich to now say, look, it's not about the riches again, because there's a point where you are rich. Look at Bill Gates. Look at Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
At the point where you say the world's richest man, it comes to a point where they stop being that and they say philanthropist. That is where the plateau is.
Ultimate.
Yes. So when we say the Southeast, where would you say a plateau of any billionaire is?
Okay.
It's not building your house in the village. It's not your daughter having a lavish wedding. Where is the plateau from moving from there into philanthropy? Once we start thinking that way, but if 1, 2, 3, 4 people start it, the younger people will now start believing.
Yes.
This is it.
Yes.
Because the money will end someday.
The Southeast, we're definitely going to the role of the media, but there's a whole lot of things to, and so on. The Southeast extra state and so on. Ulisa Bakobo said popularly that the Southeast does not need an extra state. Do you agree?
Well, I would be partial, because the state that is being agitated for is one I would love to have.
Okay.
But I think we need to get our acts first together. I think we have underestimated ourselves too long. What is it from the 5 Southeastern states that we have had so far? If you add one more, what does it do?
Okay.
Does it change anything? Have we utilized the man and manpower in all the 5 Southeast? We have not done 1.1%. If a governor builds a road, does not necessarily mean that it has developed the Southeast.
Exactly.
What can we say is okay, let me use the example. When we're talking about IPOB and all that stuff, and I said, if you want to use the example of what happened in India with Mahatma Gandhi, and you say you want to sit at home, the Indians then were producing a lot for the British. They were in the fields. The economy of what Britain needed from India was in the hands of the Indians. So when Mahatma Gandhi said, silent revolution, let's stay back, it means they are cutting a very huge resource the Britons need. Have we built ourselves into a 5 Southeastern enclave? That if we say we are not moving,
yes,
that means the port in Lagos will not work.
Exactly.
If we are not moving, that means several critical things will not work.
Will not work.
If we do not make ourselves become influencers and catalysts,
yes,
that's why Buhari didn't even care about us. If we find out that, what happened in Niger Delta? They went around blowing up pipelines, kidnapping people. Yaradua say, let's sit down and talk.
Okay.
Now, what will we say we are doing that we'll say, let's sit down and talk?
Okay.
Nobody wants to talk to you because they don't know whether your IGR is even enough. If we had the engine room of which Nollywood started here in the East,
yes.
If the engine room of theater, drama, film, entertainment was here, if Netflix set up an office here, and we said we were not moving an inch, somebody will say, let's listen to them.
Yes.
But at the point where we know we have built more outside, so we don't really care about what happens inside. Put more of your headquarters here. Pay your taxes here.
Yeah.
Do most of your business here.
It increases the visibility of the region.
It increases the visibility
of the region.
You don't just come here and build big mansions in your villages and paint it every December, hoping that when you call your friends to come from everywhere. That is not what develops us.
Yes.
Put something here that people say, anywhere you will go to Southeast Nigeria, that's where you get it.
You know, I made a proposition last year, and I talked about an integrated rail system that connects. Okay, take it from there. That connects all the Southeast because we are traders.
I do not see why we are rushing airports.
I don't know.
I said to myself, look, every Southeastern state, God has blessed us with something unique.
Yes.
If you say education, you have a state that has institutions.
Yes.
If you say agriculture, we have. Solid minerals, we have.
Yes.
Why don't we just have? And we are closer to China than any other region.
You said so, yeah.
Why can't we just have trains that I can live in Enugu and work in Abia. I
Yeah,
can
exactly.
live. Yes. Then the federal
It's
government,
not going to be more than 25, 30 minutes.
the federal government now has hubs that they meet us from every part of the world. Why do we need all these airports? Why don't we have 3 airports? Said one is for cargo, one is for passengers,
Yes.
one is for material. Aba, take a train from Aba, put all your goods in Aba. It heads to Anambra or Owerri,
Yes.
and goes.
Yeah.
The food that's coming from Abakaliki heads towards Abia or whichever.
Yes.
Moves.
Yes.
Then everything is connected. Have you noticed the Southwest is now being connected by rail?
Yes, of course.
It is a strategic thing.
It's strategic.
And we are sleeping on the bicycle when that is being done.
Yes.
We need more of the rail than they do. If you have they said they want to make a rail line from Lagos to Maiduguri. How do we key in? So that we can have all the goods come this way, and then we fly it out.
Exactly.
So if you don't have that thinking, and it does not have to be with the governors. I always look at people who say governors. Do you realize Imo Airport, Sambakwe Airport, was built by Igbo?
By Imo,
100%.
100%, I know.
So is it that we cannot give surety as people that if you pay, we will pay you, build an integrated rail line? How can we be clapping hands that somebody built a second Niger bridge? The distance, is it between Lekki Ikoyi Bridge and that bridge?
Exactly.
So why are you clapping when we could, a state government could do that? We can't do that as a region and we have the money? No, it's shocking because these are the things that boost us. If we say Anambra Onitsha market, this is what you're good for.
Yeah. Okay,
fine. We can't get a port there. Where else can we get a port? We need to have a port.
Yes.
We get a port.
So that would stop going to Lagos or Calabar and so on.
You just have a port. Okay, then we connect. This one goes by rail. People don't know there is now a rail being built between Ogun State and Lagos seaports. We don't know. We are sleeping on a bicycle. Mm-hmm. And what is Ogun State becoming? Ogun State is becoming a trade hub of the Southwest.
Exactly.
So if we stop all this bickering and fighting each other and complaining, I think we'll be able to have some kind of vision on where to go.
All right. Now, if you look at the economic situation in the Southeast, it's no longer a thing to be proud about. It's no longer a thing that you beat your chest and say that Nnamdi are doing their best, just like what you expressed. The more they sit at home, it's one of the reasons the economic realities have stared us in the face to tell us the region is losing a lot. So just have a few words
I mentioned
on this South. They sit at home.
I mentioned Mahatma Gandhi, and I said where they copied that sit at home thing, it does not apply in the Southeast.
Okay.
It doesn't even apply in Africa. So what needs to be done is we have missed it. How many years have we done sit at home?
Okay.
It has not worked for us. The Igbos don't need to remove one day. They need to add an extra day.
An extra day, yeah.
We are business people. You don't. So it has not only destroyed us economically, the perception of people around the world is that Southeast is insecure. They think we are sitting under bombs flying over.
Yes.
Because we'll go back to that question. The narrative is wrong. So if we had done sit at home, and I said to people, look, we came out of a war. This is over 50 years. Immediately after the war, every time we have a remembrance of the war should be a celebration. Yeah. We should honor those lives that were lost.
Yes.
We should make sure every school goes to meet at least one war survivor to tell you the story about it.
That's it.
The Holocaust happened.
Yes.
Generations later, remember the
Holocaust. So now, why are the Igbos
why are we looking defeated?
Yes.
We are not defeated.
Okay.
So if we say, oh, okay, one person wrongfully has been kept unduly, we know this is a fact. But it's not sitting at home that's going to change anything. It's diplomacy. It's being able to pull the right cords. Because if everybody pulled the right cords, that man would have been out since. Everybody's looking at the political side. What will I benefit? What will I not benefit? That's the problem. Nnamdi Kanu is still in incarceration because we have men who are... you can't leave it to Haneze Indigo alone.
That's exactly the next point I need to bring to you. Now, the Oke Mado and the Ezigbo Mado concept that I talked about, we have men who, in the face of it, are called leaders.
Yes.
They go to Abuja with what the Igbos have sent them
Mm-hmm.
with. And then on the left hand of their body is a CV of their son.
Mm-hmm.
So if this one does not go,
Mm-hmm.
the CV, you can employ my son.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was reported somewhere about 2 months ago that those who went for the release of Mazi Nnamdi can never talked about it when they got to Abuja. How sad do you feel?
It's not something that I'm shocked about. Like you said, we go there with a negotiation mindset, not with a unified mindset.
Okay.
I don't need to go and start. You see, if you must be free and open in this podcast. The Northerners don't need to go with CVs.
No.
The Northerners think far. We don't think far.
Okay.
I am, for instance, I'm appointed as permanent secretary, and maybe this is 1995. I begin to put in people from my region as cleaners.
Yes.
Not as managing director.
No. Because that one has a term.
A term. I will put them to move
Up the ladder.
and I will retire. They will keep going.
That's it.
The idea is that the next person will also invite somebody. Now, if you say that those ones that were invited are not so educated, while they are working, they'll go to school. By the time they are done, they have a PhD. So when you want to complain, they're not going to say, no, he has been there for a while. They don't need to take CVs to you. They need to just remind you. You remember this person? Say yes. You remember? Oh, I came from him. Simple. I'm his son. Is all. So if we are still doing that mentality of, at least let me carry this one. If this one does not work, if I go to and say, let's discuss Nnamdi Kanu, and somebody says, you know, you have EFCC case. How can I talk?
Exactly.
So I should just excuse myself. There are men who will go and meet this president and he will listen. He's not necessarily from our region.
Okay.
Because we know how to play networks, but we don't always play networks to our advantage. When you looked at when Peter Obi was contesting for president, you had people from outside the Southeast who were supporting, not just because Peter Obi was competent, but because they just believed that it's true. At this point in time, we need an Igbo man to be a leader.
And that brings us to asking about the impact of the media in the last elections.
You see, the media has been balkanized long ago. Media, from the broadcasting part, we have had no direction. From the journalistic part, we have had politics get involved. Most people I will say this in public, most people in NUJ and all, they have become highly politicized.
Okay.
Professionalism is gone. In the last election, it was not what happened in the election. It was what happened before the election. When you start noticing the narratives, you know who editorial policies, who owns the media house.
Exactly.
If you start a media house, for instance, a radio and TV station, I don't think anybody is going to hold you by the jugular tomorrow. I say, I heard your people saying this, I beg, talk to them. Except it's on a friendly note. But there are men and women who own these media organizations who are highly dependent on contracts, highly dependent on what? On political favors.
Yes.
So when a journalist wants to say the truth and his paymaster say, look, listen to me. This is where we are getting our money. Don't criticize this person. So the media in the elections, we were more of observers. All we were doing is just report what we hear and not discuss what we know. We did not give people the truth of what's going on.
Yes.
So while the other part of the media was saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, let me shock you. The people who actually acted our roles was the social media. The social media became the media. And we sat in our broadcasting houses collecting feed from social media. That is where the problem started. So in 2023, when we had the elections, we had more people trusting the social media
than the mainstream.
Yes, because they believe the mainstream has been
compromised.
And they will not be too wrong. So when we get to that point where you don't give a damn about you run your media organization and you don't give a damn, you say the truth. The fact is, after a while, they'll begin to respect you if you refuse to collect. So I think many of us need to go back and look at it. Are we still relevant?
Okay.
Is the media still relevant? If I'm going to, there's a time when you heard a story, a rumor, you rush to TV.
Yeah.
You rush to radio.
Yeah.
Now you have a rumor, you go online.
Online immediately.
And you even believe people who are even rumor mongers.
Yeah, rumor mongers.
So I think the media has lost its teeth, and the leaders know. They call us brown envelope journalists. Because after we do an interview, we run after them.
Yes.
Not all of us.
Yes.
But we run after them. And then we get partial. My cousin just became local government chairman. I'm in the media. I will protect him. I will make sure nobody speaks wrong about him. What do you think your example are you giving to other?
Exactly.
So I think we've lost it. And the biggest competition I always say to my colleagues is when competition against social media. That's why many of the media houses are now operating more on the social media to compete with a market that we can never compete.
Can never compete.
Because everyone is a journalist.
Yes. In fact, you just summarized it well. Everyone is a journalist.
Yes.
Now, talking about let's talk about the decline of state-run media outfits in the region. When I was starting my career, it was all state-run media outfits and so on.
Yes.
And then that's why we all need to salute Afia TV and what they're doing for the Southeast and the region, including the South. We need to salute Afia TV because we need to have a voice.
Yes.
We need to have it to the extent that things like advertisements, sponsorships, endorsement should be like the thing you snap your fingers and they're there. But it's not like that.
It's not like that. You see, and we should enjoy it more because we are flamboyant people.
That's exactly my point.
Media is supposed to thrive because we are flamboyant people. We are supposed to be the ones who say, you guys are doing great. Come and take this one.
Yeah, exactly.
But the reverse is the case. We'll rather have people on the streets give us accolades.
Yes.
We go and invite some bloggers to take the stories, and we forget that we have our own voice here.
So how do you resonate our voice here?
We need to have many more voices. We need to. And here's the problem. Our people have not, aside from Mafia, if you go back in history, you realize that the first person that had a popular media establishment was the late Owele of Onitsha.
Okay.
The West African Pilot was the biggest.
Yeah, was the biggest, 1937, yes.
After him, how many more Igbos have invested in the media? Now we talk about Minaj.
In Obosi.
That was a frontline media organization.
Frontline.
Competing even before the likes of Channel Steve.
Exactly.
What happened to that? Because many of our people are not far-sighted. They're short-sighted.
Yeah.
We want, if we sell this mic 200 naira, the profit is 50 naira. Let's get more. But media is a long-term investment.
Very long-term.
A very long-term investment. So, and that is what the likes of channels, that's what Arise is trying to do. You will notice that they are putting investment because the voice is not just for today, the voice is for tomorrow.
Exactly.
And nobody is responding on our behalf. Surprisingly, a few years ago, someone was arguing with me that we had an international airport in Enugu. Because nobody is telling our story.
Exactly.
Nobody is doing a documentary about certain things in Igbo land. You say, really, they have this? Oh, we know about Abacha. Okay. So what else do you know about the Southeast food?
Oba.
What do you know about our culture? If we don't tell our stories, somebody else will tell it for us.
So
we need more voices.
More voices. Yeah,
yes.
I see your point.
We need more voices because if we don't say it, other people begin to drown our voices.
Yes.
And
to their own advantage.
To their advantage. The problem also is we are scattered. And because we are natural movers, we also need to get the voices of all these people. So they think the Southeast is just 5 states. Shockingly, we are in your state.
Shockingly, that's the first I said.
We are in your state.
But fringes.
We are fringes. So we also need to get the voices of, if you hear all our voices together, you'll be shocked how big we are.
Now, talking about these voices, what is the voice of those of us in the diaspora who are Igbos?
That's the thing. I think the diasporans, first, when you get there, is survival. Then you now come into a lifestyle. The problem now is nobody is talking about how important are their voices to us. What are we sending to them? What are they sending to us? If they can, and it's lovely when you hear and see videos of our cultural days abroad.
Yes.
But our people here don't know. We have cultural days. They know. We don't know about what's going on there. So it is going to be a two-way channel. They need to speak to us. We need to speak to them. And we should just stop speaking to them asking for money.
Yeah, that's a very, very dangerous
Because
one.
we the only thing we ask from them is money.
Yeah, and that's why all they want to hear about, for those of them who have jackpot, is
Yes.
that it's
How
all
much are you
about
sending
money,
back?
money.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So I think the voices of the diasporans are very important, but nobody is speaking. If Afia, the likes of Afia would have investments that can deal from the outside in and the inside out, then we go far. But we are not seeing people who, oh, Afia, oh, it's very nice. It's a TV station. Okay. On this, oh, it's fine. That's where it ends.
So where does, because it's a good point we are raising here about people in the diaspora. What strategies do you think AFIA will strike
Afia
with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora?
Good. We have the advantage of,
especially related to our culture,
Yes.
tradition, and who we are,
Yes.
and how great we are as a
Good.
people.
We have the advantage of internet. We don't need too much. What we need is diasporans to come together and say, let us create a media enclave across the world, different hubs that celebrate culture, and then feed those hubs into stations like this. If we have, for instance, abroad, we definitely have. How many of our young boys are in football clubs abroad? How many of us know that they are there? We need to have that mirror, that two-way mirror, where they send information, we send information. Because what we are sending now is more of doom and gloom. What we are sending more of is, this is what's happening, this is bad, this is happening. What if we send in other things and they send their way too? Because remember, those ones, our brothers in the diaspora, have more foreigners as friends.
Yes.
What do the foreigners know about? And they don't, probably most of them don't even go with as much information.
Dr. Jufo, you know why I'm asking this question?
Yes.
I saw 2 days ago a top American rapper or something like that who was flaunting his Igbo origin.
Yes.
That the DNA has shown he's an Igbo man.
Yes.
Then, I also want to recall during the elections of last year how those in the diaspora were doing videos to say, I am this, I am that. Oyibo even did the videos to say, this is who I want you to vote for.
Yes. Yes.
Advise AFIA on that area where we can have, like on the September 1st this year, I'm going for what, I'm a member of the committee. It's called African Community Service Awards. An award built by an Igbo brother to recognize and reward other brothers from the African countries who have distinguished themselves in several areas in the diaspora. All right? So it brings you out and places you, gives you a premium.
In front of other
Africans. So advise AFIA on this, because if I get somebody who is top in America and say, I'm an Igbo man, I love to be Igbo any day, great guy,
yes,
I'm coming, and so on. It will help to show up.
Yes, I think AFIA needs to play more international.
Yeah, I think so.
We need to, you know, when AIT started, there was AIT, then AIT International.
International, yes.
We need to have AFIA International. We need to start looking at AFIA from playing the international game.
Yes, exactly.
Because there is more information that should be gotten about Southeast. But we are not giving that information, because here's the problem. We are trying to teach a dog how to be a dog.
Yes.
Here. Everybody knows about our culture. The only thing we need to do is reinforce the culture.
Yes.
But there, we need people to know who we are. So if you have AFIA International, what we do have now is we have a platform for the international communities to look in and see the truth that we are not in a war zone.
Yes. Telling our story by ourselves.
We need to tell our story by ourselves. Because you see, I always know, you're talking about DNA. You see a lot of foreigners, Black Americans, who always say they want to trace their roots.
Yes.
They will now say they are so percent Nigerian. And somehow, it looks like they are more Igbo.
More Igbo, yes.
Than every other
tribe. Than every other tribe, yes.
How well are we celebrating that?
That's a question I asked AFIA TV.
There's an American actor who traces his root to Ghana. And then he brings his fellow Black Americans into Ghana, where they go through the slave route, the castle. And it becomes an awakening for them.
Yeah.
They will walk the routes.
Emina Castro, yeah.
Yes. They walk the routes and see where their forefathers were being kept in dungeons before they went to the place of no return. How many of us are bringing in people and saying, this is Igbo land? Aside marrying them, because we know how to marry.
Yes.
But how many of us are bringing in those people and say, come to Anambra, come to Imo, come to Abakaliki, come to Afibo. So we need to start selling. This is the truth about us. So we are not warring people. We don't fight.
We don't.
We love business. We love enjoyment. We are very cultural, very communal.
Now, that also brings me to what I had asked, said I was going to ask earlier. You think there was an invasion of our space? I never heard, as I was growing up, that an Igbo man could put a knife on somebody's throat and slaughter.
Yeah.
We do our business, do our farming and so on. So is it an invasion of our land by those who may not like us? Because there's this hatred for the Igbo man. We have become an endangered species and so on. So where did that come from that made our place so insecure?
The second question about the hatred, we are like the Jews. That's why people say we are from.
Yes.
We are hated.
Yes.
We are living like the Jews in Israel, within a place where all our enemies are around us. But that's literal. But in terms of where this happened, number one, we lost our values, family values, where we were not able to deal with indiscipline. When they said it takes a community to raise a child, I think it started from Igbo land.
Yes.
Because we know that everybody raised your child.
Everybody raised your child.
So if we lost that as fatherhood, motherhood, as a family unit, we lost it. Then we look at the infiltration from others. There's no way you'll be a thriving community of people where people will not try to invade you and try and cause mayhem. Of course there is. But who are the gatekeepers? Who's standing and saying no? Who is saying, no, this is not our culture. This is not who we are. You know, we deal with it in the marketplace. Oh, you're a stubborn child, we deal with you in public. We come out and say, but you know, if somebody commits a crime now, we say, cover him up. Yes, we'll cover you up, but we'll also tell the world that we are dealing with this child.
Yes.
But there's nobody doing that. So it now became an institution. How did we start becoming people that will shoot people on the road? How? When did we start kidnapping people and keep the person and kidnap and kill? When did we start becoming those kind of people? Because number one, it became an industry and we started looking at, because let me say this, when they say there's unemployment in different parts of Nigeria, we shouldn't be saying that in the Southeast.
We shouldn't be saying that. In fact, I reviewed my stand on this unemployment issue 2 days ago, and I said many Nigerians are not employable.
True. But because we have an entrepreneurship scheme, and several other communal factors, we should not be said to be unemployed.
Yes.
And when we say unemployable people, there are so many people.
There are so many.
Have no skill, or they don't want to harness their skill.
Yes.
So when we have those kind of people lying around and there's nothing engaging them, and tomorrow they become political associates. They become PAs, they become talks to people. That's where the lack of accountability starts. And there's no family to, you know, those days while growing up, they said, remember where you're coming from. Remember whose father you're coming from.
That's it.
Do we still have those kind of things?
No.
So I think that's where we start having issues. And we need to go back and do gatekeeping, irrespective of whoever you are. Whoever asks is God, we tell it to your face, you are wrong.
You're wrong.
And the person should say, okay, I accept it. Or argue and keep quiet. But when you say you are wrong and everybody starts abusing you, what's the point? Where are you coming from? Something exciting happened last year. December. That was after the election. In Lagos, they said Igbo people should go home. It was only in Lagos. But by December, TikTok became an Igbo man's best friend because people were showing how they went home.
Oh, yeah.
They were seeing their houses in the village.
Yes.
And we said, and it became a culture.
And one woman made a video to say, Igbos, please come back.
You see?
This is the 8th of January or 10th of January.
You are not
I
here.
have not fed for...
The city is empty. So we told you that when we go home, we go to our homestead.
Yes.
We go to our what they call it, country home.
Like Israelites told Pharaoh.
Yes.
We want to go and worship our God.
Let us go. So I think that was the beginning of an eye-opener for me because we began to show people that, look, we are beyond this. We are living in your place doesn't mean we don't have a shelter over our heads. If we go back to that, our pride, and say, no child should be without going to school. No man should be without a job. No woman, no widow should be without food. We cover our own.
Yes.
That's when we begin to work as a unit. And if we do, if anybody finds out that we have that mindset, it will become like what happened with the Tower of Babel.
Babel, yes.
God himself said the people is one.
Yes.
He didn't say, For the first time, he saw people as one person. And because of that, God destroyed the first and only time he destroyed the effort of a human being. Because everybody was together. It was not about them coming to heaven to come and dethrone God.
Yes.
What will they do if they have more ingenuity?
Ingenuity amongst them.
Among them. So I think that's the same thing that happens in our own society.
Yeah.
When they see that these people are progressing, next 50 years, they might become too big.
Too big.
So let's infiltrate gradually, using their own people against each other.
This is the story of the Israelites.
Yes.
If we let them be,
yes,
they will.
Exactly. That's what Pharaoh said. So I think if we look at it and we say, okay, where did we get it wrong? We need to plug the loopholes. We need to protect ourselves. Look, leave your political party. This is us. We is one.
Yeah.
Then everybody don't say this person is Nnamdi, this is Igbo. We speak one language.
Yes.
If you go and see an Asian man, you say he's a Chinese, but you say, he'll now tell you, no, I'm South Korean, I'm this, but they are Asians.
Yeah, the Asians, yes.
They have one common interest.
So the politics of the Southeast, but as at 1999, it was all PDP and so on.
Exactly.
Now it's broken down to only one PDP,
yes,
one Labour,
and
one ABGA,
yes,
two APC.
Exactly.
So has it really helped the Southeast?
This is one of the things that was further used to destroy us. If it was going to be ABGA, let it be ABGA. If it's going to be PDP, if we are saying we are a regional party, look at it. How did Hitler, it's not a good example, but when Hitler wanted to take over, Hitler started his own party. And as small as they are, we need to start looking at the fact that if you have one political party and maybe a few others, but it's a common interest, you love our culture, you love our people, our language, and what we believe in, you are part of us. We expand based on ideology. But when we look at what we have today, we are now decimated by party.
By party.
We are decimated by region.
So our governors should really look inwards.
Our governors need to start.
And not believe in their political party structure.
Because what did the
party, in the interest of the
Southeast,
has the
party done for them?
For them,
when they jump from party to party, what does it change?
Yeah.
It only changes the flag. It doesn't change anything else.
Yes.
If we are going to go and negotiate, let's negotiate as one.
Okay.
And then people look at it. Do you realize that we had an NCNC way back?
Way back.
And it was Azikiwe and several other people.
Yes.
Did they call it an Igbo party? We have parties where it was an Igbo this and no. It is an identity. Before you know it, people start dressing like us. People like thinking like us.
Exactly.
So let's not just look at Igbo-ness being based on where I'm from. Let's start looking at Igbo-ness being a way of life, a culture. Before you know it, other people start imbibing it. And then the next thing you know is the culture now follows.
Okay.
I think we are putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
When we start saying Igbo, no. To be an Igbo man, you can be from Oyo State. I have a mentality of an Igbo man. It becomes that. Then we now come back to identity.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've touched on this sometime in the past 10, 15 minutes. Traditional media versus social media. We should bear the responsibility of telling the Igbo story.
Both. But the thing is, regulation and several other things has made it more of social media. If it's social media, then let's invest in social media. If traditional media is too held down by politics, policies, and whatever, then let's go the route of social media. Let's invest in social media. Let's pull up more content companies. Come to Afia, come and put your program. Go on YouTube, put up your program. Put up your idea. But sell our culture. Sell it. If there's any way we can sell it, sell it. It doesn't have to be paid for. Go into the country, make more people, put our language out there. Teach people how to speak our language.
Talking about language, Chinua Achebe's work, This Fell Apart.
Yes.
Last 2 days, has been declared as the 50 best read or most influential books.
And that book has been Transcribed into how many languages?
It was more than 50 as at the last time I knew.
You see?
But being noted
Yes.
as the 50 most influential books.
What did Things Fall Apart actually do? Things Fall Apart was a story about a man.
Yes.
But around the man, it was garnished with his culture, his personality.
That's it. And that's the Igbo.
And aside that, there are several men who are outside Igbo land that can identify with Okonkwo. They can identify that even if you translated it into an American novel, an American man will understand it.
Yes.
But an Igbo man wrote that story.
Yes.
Covered his culture around it. Now, it will not have been transcribed into other languages if other languages did not see any nexus within their culture. So I think it's the same thing.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So with the, like we have given kudos to Afia TV and its officers of what they are doing in the Southeast here. They still need to do a whole lot. So with the advent of Afia TV, which is the voice of this Southeast and the signature and other things, what are the expectations moving forward?
Well, it will sound biased because I know the ownership, but I think we need to do more investment in Afia TV and its likes. You don't expect much from them if they are taking so much and they don't have the cooperation of other people.
Other people, yeah.
But if they have more resources coming in, they can do better. They can do more, not better. Because they're doing well, but they need to do better. And that better will be predicated on those people who are able to say, I catch your vision. I put my money. I'm putting it long term. I'm not saying that I'm putting my money so I'll make money back. I'm putting my money because you have a voice and I believe that voice should be. So if we give them more, if we collaborate with them more, you'll see them do extraordinary. Because the standard and equality, it can be compared to any
broadcast
media, across the world.
Across the world.
So I think it is the beginning of great things.
So does the government have a role to play in facilitating the development of this?
No, let's leave government out of this. Government they have a very
or they buy into it to destroy it?
To destroy it. And they won't understand it. The only thing they can do.
Like maybe it's happening to Dangote Refinery?
Exactly. You know what happened to Alan Oyema with
APIS?
It is when the government got involved.
That we started hearing hula baloo.
Good. If Afia TV needs to go forward, then what the government does is government should just provide that umbrella. So that if they walk into anywhere, they say, we know them. They can call 1 or 2 state governors, 1 or 2 commissioners across the Southeast, not in Enugu. And you will find out that they have that covering. So I think that's where government can help out. Government should project them as well.
Project them. Put
them as one of your leading reporting agencies within your government houses.
How disturbed are you that the court has asked that Mazen and the Kanu be released and is still being held?
A lawless society. We are in a lawless, and it's become institutionalized. That's what they've been doing to several other people. They've done the same thing to Nnamdi Kanu, and it is becoming absurd. So it means that what the court said doesn't matter. Then why do we have courts? If the court say this, why is the court only useful when it's election time? But the one court has given ruling, release the man, another court, and the court doesn't give, they keep prolonging it. Do what you said. Put this thing in Supreme Court. Let's see how far it's going to go. No one has taken it there because that's the final.
That's the final.
So it is scary that our laws are not being respected and it is being handled by whoever is in charge. We hope to get to that point in our society where the law works for the common man, irrespective of whoever that person is. And I really frown. I've said it on my platforms. It's really wrong that Nnamdi Kanu or any person should be kept against the wishes of the law and the Constitution. It's wrong. We are setting a very bad precedent. Very bad.
Don't you also think that the role of the media in all this, because the reportage should be actually to question government,
yes,
and say, by the rule of law, this man has been asked to go. Why are you keeping him? So, so media keeping quiet. Is the politics?
It's partly the politics and also the fact that media these days don't have a direction. Their focus is on what happens in government in Aso Rock in Abuja. If the media started focusing on what happens locally, then you'll find that things like this would have become editorial. But because whatever Tinubu does, however he moves, however he sneezes, becomes news, we are not focusing on what's important at the ground level. How many media people have gone into the streets to find out how much bag of rice is? No, they don't. So do you think they'll take Nnamdi Kanu serious? It's not as important to them as it should. If this was the US and you have New York Times, you have the Washington Post, and all of them write, of course, there'll be.
That's the angle.
That's the angle.
Yes.
And because also the integrity of the media organizations who will write these things is another question which I've already asked before. What is integrity? Are they tied to the apron strings of government? If they are, then you don't expect them to say much. How many of us are not depending on government patronage? If they say something now, if this was live now, and we said all this, somebody will be driving and talk to the owner of Afia, why are you doing this?
Yes.
They don't you support government?
Yes.
And this you're against government. When we start looking at it from that anyone who opposes is against you, is wrong.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's something that we need to look at.
All right. Well, you see, Super Sam, Dr. Jufo, I must let you know that there wouldn't have been an end to this discourse if not for timing, and there has to be some time to say goodbye.
Yes.
But this, we'll continue this discourse because I enjoyed this session with you.
Thank you.
The Igbo Renaissance, the rebirth, the role of the media. And we will also capture the essence of our discussions, the role of this and so on.
Yeah.
Because I think that Ndebanye need to also be galvanized.
Exactly.
Also, sometimes too, we follow the lead. Who is leading?
Yes.
We'll talk about the followership.
Yes.
But I think, like, from what you said, and especially with the regional structure of the Southeast, making our people know that I said it last year when I was advising a group that a journey, the South, because we are landlocked kind of.
Yes, we are.
A journey all around the Southeast wouldn't be more than 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Because we are not that big in terms of landmass and so on. If you could consider that the Niger State has about 76,000 something square kilometers,
yes.
and our place is just 30-something thousand, 50-something thousand, you now know that we can
cover ourselves in
1 hour, 30 minutes, you've covered it and distributed whatever
and
goods.
done anything you want to do.
So we need to also begin to think about those we elect into office.
And we need to keep talking about this so that they will listen, because they actually do. They actually do. Social media changes things. Podcasts like this with respected personalities like you, you're not abusing a person. You're saying this is the idea. And they will take it serious.
Exactly.
So if you keep talking,
all right,
it's like a stone to the wall, we'll break it.
All right. Thank you for being part of the podcast today. We will keep you posted, and with all the guests and our topics, it will always get better. Thank you very much, Dr. Sammy Adrian Ajufo, for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.